Am I the asshole for refusing to change my wedding date because my best friend is pregnant? I, 24F, got engaged to my fiancé, Luke, 27M, last year, and we're getting married in early September. We've been planning this wedding for over a year, and everything is set. The venue, the dress, the catering, you name it. My best friend, Sarah, 26F, has been super involved in the planning process. She's my maid of honor, and I couldn't imagine the day without her. Here's the issue. Sarah recently found out she's pregnant and is due at the end of August. She told me last week and was really excited, but then she said, "So, I guess we need to figure out a new wedding date." I was confused and asked what she meant. She explained that she probably wouldn't be able to make it to the wedding because she'll either be in the hospital or recovering with a newborn. I told her I understood, but we couldn't change the date because we've already paid deposits, sent out save the dates, and the like. Sarah got really upset and said something along the lines of, "But I'm your best friend. How can you have your wedding without me there?" I tried to explain that it's not personal. I love her, but there's no way to reschedule everything at this point without losing thousands of dollars. Sarah got even more upset, accusing me of prioritizing money over our friendship. She basically told me if the roles were reversed, she'd move mountains to make sure I could be there for her big day. I offered to find ways to include her in the ceremony even if she couldn't physically be there, like setting up a live stream or something like that, maybe even doing a special dinner after the baby is born. But she shut that down, saying it's not the same. She thinks it's selfish of me not to consider that this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment for her too, becoming a mom for the first time and being part of her best friend's wedding. To make things more awkward, Sarah has been rallying some of our mutual friends, who now think I'm the villain for not budging. They've said things like, "It's just a wedding, but a baby is forever," or, "This is a sign you care more about the event than the people in your life." One even suggested I have a smaller, symbolic ceremony later in the year so Sarah could attend, which feels ridiculous considering how much we've already invested. Meanwhile, my mom and fiancé are firmly on my side. My mom even said it's entitled of Sarah to expect me to rearrange everything for her, especially since she didn't consult me before planning to have a baby, not that she needs my permission, obviously. Luke is supportive but thinks I should let Sarah cool off and focus on enjoying the wedding with the people who can be there. I feel torn. I don't want to hurt Sarah, but I also feel like this is my wedding, and it's not fair to expect me to rearrange everything for something that was completely out of my control. Am I really being selfish for refusing to change the date? Not the asshole, you're not being selfish at all, but she most certainly is. Your wedding is your and your fiancé's day, not hers. As for expecting you to lose thousands just for her, I'd be re-evaluating the friendship to be honest, especially if she's shit-stirring amongst other friends. That doesn't sound much like someone who wants you to be happy and can't be center of attention. And while it's horrible to say, if she's newly pregnant, there's a chance of miscarriage early on, so you could do this and she ends up not having a baby. I hope it doesn't happen, but would she repay you the money you'd lose? If the answer's no, then you can see how much she prioritizes her money over the friendship. Not the asshole, but I'm your best friend. How can you have your wedding without me there? Yeah, I'm your best friend. How could you raw dog it 9 months before you knew you had my wedding to go to? Offer for her to pay the costs associated with a new date. The lost deposits and possible vendors, the additional cost for another weekend, the new save the dates, the awkward phone calls. If it's so important she physically be there, she can move those mountains she thinks are no big deal. Edit NTA. Not the asshole. You've given her alternative options and been really reasonable. I mean, is Sarah going to pay for everything to be rescheduled? Didn't think so. If she's rallying other people to bully you into changing the date, turns out she's not quite the best friend you thought she was. I'd be telling her best of luck in ending the friendship. Your mom is right. She's entitled and making it all about her rather than being happy for you. Not the asshole. Sarah is lucky she wasn't talking to me because I would have told her she was the selfish one and that she could always put an end to this pregnancy and get pregnant after the wedding. My advice: tell Sarah and all the friends who are trying to bully you that the wedding date is not moving and that anybody who tries to get you to change the date will be uninvited on the spot. This is your wedding. This is not about Sarah, who needs a reality check right now. Not the asshole. What an entitled little brat. How can there be a wedding if I'm not there? It's simple. You only need 2 people to perform the wedding. The bride and the groom. Let the entire guest list stop doing everything because you forgot to wear protection. Sheesh. Am I the asshole for beating my GFS brother at a game when I would normally let him win, to prove a point? When I would visit my GFS house, I would sometimes play games with her little brother who is 12. When I would play competitive games against him, I would normally let him win. Call of Duty, etc. I was visiting again a few days ago and her little brother had 2 of his friends over and I overheard him talking about me. He was telling them how bad I was at games and it must make me mentally disabled to be so bad. He used more offensive language. He said my girlfriend must be stupid to be dating me too. I could hear his friends laughing about it. It was quite hurtful as I had tried to be friendly with him. A bit later I said to him, want to play some games buddy, and he acted polite, but I could see his friends laughing to themselves. I played Call of Duty against him and did not go easy. His friends were now laughing at him and he was on the verge of tears before he stormed off to his room. My girlfriend wasn't happy. Later in the car she accused me of deliberately making her brother cry. I told her I wasn't trying to do that, I just didn't like how he was talking about me or her. Aida? She said he is just a kid and I should have just left it. Not the asshole. Your GF's brother trash-talking you behind your back wasn't cool. Calling you mentally disabled wasn't cool. I know he's just a kid, but he's a jerk. He needed to be humbled. Good job op. Keep smashing the little shit lol. Not the asshole. Children being mollycoddled is the problem here. They shouldn't be shielded from things like not winning. They need to learn how to deal with those emotions. A 12-year-old storming off to his room is a bit sad. A 25-year-old doing it is just bad. He got a bit full of himself and he was brought down a peg or two. He will get over it, and hopefully he will learn something from it. Not the asshole. It's a harsh world. He shouldn't be taking about anyone like that. Hope he learned a life lesson and a good reality lesson. Not the asshole. This is why you don't let your kids or any kids win just because they're little. They'll learn. Not the asshole. He needed a reality check. Trash talking someone who's been kind to him isn't okay, even for a kid. Not the asshole. It is one thing if Yo has let him win and he did so gracefully. It became something else when he not just trash talked about you, but even made personal comments about you in your personal life. Like why your girlfriend was dating you. Like you said, you had tried to be friendly to him, but he betrayed that for no other reason than to puff himself up in front of his friends. Your girlfriend was wrong. You should not have just left it. Her brother learned a valuable lesson about treating people with respect and dignity. After all, if he had not been so rude, not only would you have not beaten him so badly that day, but you would have allowed him to keep the illusion that he was better than you. Call of Duty, and he could have saved face in front of his friends. Am I the asshole for refusing to house sit for my friend after I found out they got a cat? I, 28M, agreed to house sit for my friend Alex, 30M, while they went on a week-long vacation. Alex has a dog that I've always loved, and I thought it would be nice to help them out. I even took some time off work to make sure I could give the dog plenty of attention. A few days before Alex left, I went over to get the house keys and a rundown of what needed to be done. That's when Alex casually mentioned, "Oh, by the way, we got a cat." This caught me off guard because I'm very allergic to cats. Alex knows this. I've had to leave gatherings early before because of my allergies. I asked why they hadn't told me earlier, and Alex said they forgot because they'd only had the cat for about a month. I told Alex I couldn't stay in their house if they had a cat. Even if I avoided it, the dander would still trigger my allergies. I suggested they ask someone else or hire a sitter. Alex got defensive, saying I was leaving them in a lurch right before their trip. I felt bad, but I didn't think it was fair for Alex to spring this on me last minute. I offered to check in on the dog daily, if they could isolate the cat in another room, but Alex said that wouldn't work. They ended up scrambling to find someone else and left for their trip angry at me. A mutual friend later told me I should have sucked it up for a week because Alex really needed the break and probably just forgot to mention the cat. I'm starting to feel like I might have overreacted. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. I also have allergies to cat dander. I can tolerate neighbor's cat that comes over and visits outside, but not in the house. They have had the cat for a month, its hair and dander are everywhere. They were not planning to make the effort to clean a space for you where the cat was not allowed. Your friend who is saying you should have sucked it up for a week obviously has no idea what it's like to have streaming eyes and nose, swollen face and not able to breathe. They knew for a month before bothering to tell you. They found someone else to do it, so any issues are on Alex and his family. Not the asshole. I didn't think it was fair for Alex to spring this on me last minute. Why do I suspect that might have been strategic? Alex said they forgot because they'd only had the cat for about a month. Alex really needed the break and probably just forgot to mention the cat. Who forgets about a brand new pet? The first month of owning a cat consists of nothing but taking and sharing pictures and videos of your new kitty. Not the asshole. Severe allergies are no joke. Your friend should not be expecting you to endanger your life to house sit for them, especially when that part was sprung on you with so little warning. Make no mistake, that's what they're asking for. If you have serious allergies, sustained contact with a severe allergen can cause anaphylaxis. They made a pretty major change to the conditions of your agreement by getting the cat, so they have no one to blame but themselves. Not the asshole. Anyone who tells you to suck it up when it comes to an allergy isn't someone worth keeping around. Not the asshole. You're allergic to cats. Even worse, your friend knows about it. They just tried to force your hand, thinking you wouldn't back out at the last minute. Stand your ground. Not the asshole. I'm guessing since discovering this allergy you haven't spent multiple days in a home with a cat. You have no idea how your body would respond to that. It may not have been physically possible for you to do it. Am I the asshole for not unlocking the door at the Pilates studio? I recently invited one of my coworkers to a hot Pilates class. It was both of our first time at this studio. The class started at 12 noon. At 11:55 I was already set up in the studio and I texted my coworker to ask if she was close. She said she was 5 minutes away. At 12:05 she still had not arrived and the Pilates instructor locked the door to the building and started the class. My friend texted me at 12:10 telling me the door was locked and to let her in. I did not feel comfortable leaving the class to go unlock the door as I assumed the instructor locks it for a reason and it was my first time there. I told my friend the class had started and I couldn't leave. After the class my coworker had texted me telling me she was mad at me for not getting up and unlocking the door for her. But how can she be mad at me when she was late? Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. From my understanding Pilates requires a certain amount of concentration. The instructor locked the door because it is not the kind of thing you would want people walking in and out of. Being that it was her first class, she should have made it a priority to be on time. In my opinion, leaving her outside saved you both from potential embarrassment and bad first impressions. Not the asshole. Most workout studios have this rule in place and once 5-10 minutes has elapsed from the beginning of class, doors are closed and people aren't allowed in. This allows the instructor to be fully present for the beginning of class and for everyone to settle in instead of getting distracted by someone walking in and setting up. You're not responsible to check your phone every 30 seconds to see if your late friend has arrived. It's not your studio, it would be extremely rude for you to unlock the door. Info. Door was locked to avoid interruptions but you texting back and forth was okay? Not the asshole. It was not your door to unlock and you could not disturb the instructor mid-class to unlock the door. There is an old say, snooze you lose. Not the asshole and you shouldn't have still been in your phone after the start of class. You shouldn't have seen her text at all. Not the asshole. I teach yoga. Class begins on time and I lock the doors. I get that things happen and we all run late from time to time, but I need to be respectful to the entire class and their time, which means not delaying the class and not allowing people to interrupt. I also admittedly would not be very happy if one of my students disrupted class by getting up and unlocking the door for a late student.